Hi, I'm Kimmy with On William Street, and we are here to help you become a more confident quilter from the piecing to the quilting and everything in between. So this week we're going to talk about some of the different tools I use when marking a quilt top for custom quilting. When I'm getting a quilt ready to custom quilt it, and I've got my quilting plan all designed out, everything's ready to go, but I need to transfer some of the marks to the quilt, there's a few different tools and some different things that I use depending on the circumstance. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of my favorite marking tools and show you why and when I would use those on different aspects of the quilt. All right, so the first thing I need to say before we talk about the markers and pens themselves is whenever I talk about marking a quilt top, always test whatever you're using first. I have never had any issues with these things. That's why I'm going to show them to you. These are my favorite. These are the ones you use all the time. However, that doesn't mean that one of these days I won't. So make sure that whatever fabric you're using, you test a little area first, make sure that it's going to come out, and then you can go back in and mark the whole quilt top. But it would say I would be heartbroken if you drew all over a quilt and for some reason that was the one fabric that didn't like it and it didn't come out. And so make sure that you double check and spot test all of these before you use them all over. So first I'm going to kind of show you some of the different tools that I'm going to talk about today. So the first one is just an ordinary school chalk, and this is just a box of Crayola washable school chalk. I make sure that it is washable, but it's nothing fancy at all. The next one is a disappearing ink pen. Disappearing ink is not just for secret messages. I also have some water-soluble pens, and then I have some heat erase pens. And I use these all in different situations based on what I'm looking for and what I'm trying to accomplish. So first with the chalk, I like the chalk because it shows up on lots of different colors of fabric. If I was to make some marks here, I can see them pretty easily on those dark fabrics. The light fabric, not so much. I've never tried some of the other chalk. I know you can get other chalk pens. I haven't tried those. Just make sure that you're testing anything to see if it works. But I know that they do make colored chalks you can use on the lighter fabrics. The thing with the chalk is it is not super precise, especially just a school chalk. So I'm not going to use this one for precision piecing, but if I have basic areas I need to block in, if I'm doing an all-over design but I want them in diamonds or something like that, the chalk is a great option. The thing I like about the chalk is it just does kind of wipe off. If it doesn't come off with just a finger, you just get it a little bit wet, and it's going to come off. First time you wash it, it will definitely be gone. So that is the chalk. The next one that I like to use, this is probably my favorite, is the disappearing ink air soluble. So this one, if I come in and I draw on this quilt, it's going to be there, but it's only going to last a little while. It says up to 4 to 5 days. I have never had it last that long. It's going to last a matter of an hour or two, up to maybe 6 to 7 hours. So if I'm using this, it's because I'm marking as I go. I would never use the air erase to pre-mark anything. It's something where I'm marking a small section, I'm quilting it out. Marking a small section, quilting out. But I really like it because I don't have to go back in and erase anything later. It is going to disappear on its own. This also only really works on the lighter. You can see here it works really good on the yellow. You can even kind of see it on the blue, the light blue, but on this dark blue, you're not going to see it very well. So I wouldn't use it to mark anything on the darker fabric. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the water soluble. And the water soluble, this one again, it's not going to work on the super dark, but it does work great on the lighter colors. And it is just that. You're going to put it on, draw it on however you want, do your quilting, and then you just come in with a little bit of water afterwards, and it's going to disappear. That was a lot of water. You probably don't need quite that much. But then you can see that it's gone. So really easy to use, and this is something that if you are working on a project that you're marking first and quilting later, this is a great one to use. The thing I like about it is if for some reason all the marks don't come out as soon as you quilt it, as soon as you wash it the first time, those are going to be gone. But it also does say don't leave it on there for, a long time. So try to get those marks out as quickly as possible. Don't leave it for months and months, but I have never had any problems with these coming out. The last one I'm going to talk about is, so these two, I like to use them a lot in my quilting They have the finer points. You can actually see this in a little bit of a bigger point as well. But they got the fine points, so they're really easy to get some precision with. I use them with my rulers all the time. This is usually when I'm marking, so I'll put, put the ruler here, and you can mark around whatever you need to mark. When I'm marking, I'm not going to mark all the insides. I'm going to mark outside shapes if I need to have, certain spots of how far apart things are. So you can put those things in with these markers and they can get a really nice point. So if I'm looking for any sort of precision, I'm definitely going to go for one of these over the chalk. That's purely for generalized information. These are going to be a lot more for precision. So then the last one I'm going to talk about our heat erase. These ones are really nice because they come in lots of different color options. So I do have my white, so if I'm working on a dark one, I can come in, hopefully you can see this, and I can actually see my white pen on that. So this pack that I've found, it just has red, blue, green, orange, black. So there's really something that's going to work on all of the colors. I have a black for some of the lighter mid-tone colors. Reds are going to work on anything. The thing I like about these, again, you do have the precision. This is probably the ones that are the most precise with these pens. It's the thinnest line next to my super fine air soluble. And then you can also, when you want to get rid of them, you just come in and put a little bit of heat on them. And they just disappear right off. So they're going to be permanent until you remove them as well. We really like to use these when we're doing any marking, when we're quilting, piecing the quilt top, because we're already going to definitely be ironing those a lot. So those lines are going to come out. And so that works really well to use those as opposed to like the water or the air soluble that might not last as long as we need it to. So we really like those for that. But like I said, I use them on quilting. If I'm doing any sort of dark fabrics, I'll go in and pull out my white. And it will help me to mark those and actually be able to see it and not wonder where the heck my marks went with a lot of these other ones. And then also, like I said, if I'm going for super precision on some of my more complex quilting designs, I'll pull out my pens to put those in place. So if you're wondering about specific brands and where, and what some of my favorite ones are, I will go ahead and put those in the blog post. So if you just go down to the comments, you'll see a link to the blog post, and you can find all the information there on what brands and the tools, what brands of the tools and the pens that we use. So if you have any questions on any of the tools that we talked about today, definitely shoot us an email or you can comment on this video and we'd be happy to answer those for you. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so that you're notified whenever we post a new video. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you next week.